Oh, we are so back. Alliance has an encyclopedia. Well, it will have an encyclopedia. I got permission as a beta tester to show off that Alliance is going to get the encyclopedia after September 25th in the update. So, if you're looking in the game and wondering where the encyclopedia is anytime before that date, that's why you don't see it. Now let's take a look inside. First of all, I just want to compliment the UI of the encyclopedia because they put this X here to exit out as a part of the cover of it overall, like a cover of the book that the encyclopedia is, which is this metal thingy. Now, I'm not sure what the metal aesthetic is for in the first place, but it does feel fitting in Alliance. I guess it's just what they want to do with it. Maybe it's some sort of blend between the Dark Army and Linearian side, because the Dark Army uses a lot of metal in all of their equipment. But anyways, if you look at the ranged towers here, aka the non-barracks towers, you can see their stats. We've got damage, what tier of attack speed the tower has, and then what tier of range they have, rather than like a numerical stat. And then if you look at the tier 4 option of a tower, then you can see their ability names and icons, but none of the stats for that either. And then if you look at the actual barracks towers, you can see their attack damage, their respawn time, health, and armor if they have any. And then same thing if you go to the tier 4 option, you can see what their abilities look like and what they are called, but not any of the stats here. One stat that's not explicitly written but is displayed to you is the number of units that comes from the barracks. You can see it in the thumbnail here on the icon. If I click on the Grim Rates, then you can see that there's only 2 of them here. But yeah, we've got 4 full pages of towers now on this page, or now on the encyclopedia. So basically, it's just as uninformative as the encyclopedia that you all know and love from the old games. And I'm sure some people are going to complain about us waiting far longer for the encyclopedia than we should have, only for it to be no better than the already flawed ones of the past. I almost wonder if this is some form of malicious compliance to make people not like the encyclopedia so that they don't have to make one for future games. But let's be honest, does anyone even use the tower part of the encyclopedia? Maybe it's just me, but I only ever look at the enemies section. And in the enemies section, we have 7 pages worth of enemies and bosses. We've got damage, health, the armor tier, the magic resistance tier, speed tier, and the lives taken, as well as some bullet point style notes at the bottom for each enemy. Sometimes you get some misinformation here, like if you look at the Twisted Sister, you see that there's medium magic resistance, and yet the bullet point here says high magic resistance. Aren't Ironhide just the silliest little fellas? Another silly thing are the polymorphed sheep. We have the same icon for both the ground and flying version in the thumbnail, but that's just so that way they don't have to make a separate image. You see that the ground and flying one are both pictured here and in this spot. So there's just a separate one to say that this one is flying, but you can't tell that you're looking at the other one until you look at this note. So that's kind of funny. Some other little silly points are that there are more instances of the armor values not matching up. You see here for the bear woodcutter, he's got medium armor here and then high armor in the bullet point. And most importantly, in my opinion, is that the stats don't scale with the difficulty. So you look, actually let's just go to page 1. So you look here at these enemies, right? 80 health for the Tusked Brawler. And if I go over here, I'm on impossible difficulty. And yet, if I switch to casual difficulty and then go back to the Tusked Brawler, it's still 80 health. So the stats are not dynamic, and I would say that's pretty important for this game in particular, because it has changes that only occur on impossible mode. So I really think it should have this, just like the other encyclopedias used to, but it's still in development, so let's not harp on Ironhide for a literal beta version of the encyclopedia. Now, to give some more info, the encyclopedia is a Steam-only feature. For now. It's going to be added to mobile later. We can pretty safely assume that mobile will get the encyclopedia in due time. Just imagine how weird it would look to completely ignore the largest part of their fanbase. What the mobile fanbase should be reading is not the encyclopedia, but rather the pre-registration awards for Kingdom Rush Battles. Look at this. The top reward is that the community gets to make another hero. Now, I'm not here to advertise, I don't do sponsorships, but I do want to analyze these rewards. Apparently, nobody knows any details about this final reward, so it's not confirmed that this is going to work like how the Lilith voting worked. What's more likely to be the case is that Ironhide has a couple of designs to be voted on in a single voting session, and then they take care of the rest. But this gets me thinking, if the community really wants to design a hero, they can just hit me up. The Voltaire hero in the Kingdom Rush 1 mod was added literally because Plague Knight posted his art to the subreddit. Then I reached out to him and we made him into a fully playable hero in-game. Scripts, animations, voice acting, everything. So if you guys really want this kind of stuff to be possible, just message me. We could always use more artists, more programmers, etc. And the cool part is that we can add these extra heroes to every game but Vengeance. So sky's the limit. Let's see if we can reach it.